Hey folks, welcome back to Harvest 2023. We're going to give you a little sneak peek at some of the equipment we use today for harvest. So stick around, we'll give you a little show. So if you haven't been around a farming operation, we'll take you through and we'll show you the different equipment we use out here, from the combines to the grain carts, the tractors, the trucks, and we'll give you a close-up look. Come on along. So this is what the business end of the combine looks like. It's fairly menacing, and he's got an emergency little safety latch under there, so he's not being dangerous. So let's go over the head here real quick. This is a grain or bean head right here. This is the side of it. You've got skids here that run on the ground, keep it up off the ground. You've got that plastic all the way underneath. This little doodad here, if it gets moved up and down, it'll kind of raise the head up a little bit if need be. And then you've got your sickle bars here. These are what do the cutting here on the bottom. You can see about every other one is either worn down or shorter, I'm not sure. And then you've got the belt in here. These belts spin towards the center, and there's two belts, one here, one here. And they push everything to the center. Once it's cut, the reel will take it and push it back onto the head and keep it on there. You can see the orientation the bottom teeth are. They come down and then they're forward to where they keep everything on the head. And then as the head rotates, if there's anything laying down, it will actually kind of pick it up and throw it into the head. Here's the big hungry mouth right here. This drum rotates and pulls everything to the inside. This belt comes from the other direction there. Now after everything gets into the combine through this little chute here, this is where all the magic happens on the inside. It separates, I'm sure it beats the snot out of everything, opens those pods up, and then there's like a screening action that goes on, and then your beans or your corn or whatever you're combining gets screened out and actually augured up into that upper hopper up there. That upper hopper closes for transportation. You can see there's kind of some cloth in between. So you fold the front and the back end, and then these big sides fold over. And then once that hopper gets full, the lights up here will come on and start flashing. There's lights on the back, and that lets the grain cart operator know he needs to be dumped. All the trash gets thrown out the back and distributed with some little beaters back there. And then this big auger here will come out when it's time to offload, and they can offload on the run. You've probably seen that. The grain cart will pull up next to them as they're running in the field, and we'll show you that actually working when they offload into the grain cart. This is what the combine looks like without the head on it. We just changed fields, so they put the head on a trailer and pull it with a pickup. And then the combine just pulls up to it, lifts it off the trailer. Got a couple connections to make for the PTO and some hydraulic connections, and it's ready to go. It's that fast. Pretty slick. Now we just started this new field, and when you start a new field, you come up, you cut a big section out to park the trucks in and to load the trucks, and then you cut the headlands out around the field like they've done there. And then I don't know if you can see that strip right there that they cut. You cut right through the center of the field, and you're going to go right next to the pivot center out there, all the way across the field. And you do a few passes, and then if you see them out there right now, they're starting to pivot they will move this pivot, because you can move it without the water on, and the pivot will move into the track that they cut, and then we can cut the rest of this field without the pivot being in the way. All right, we are out in the combine with the boss, Logan. Hello. And we're doing soybeans here, so we'll give you an idea what that looks like. You can see how wide the head is, and got pretty good visibility from the cab here. You can see how the belts are drawing the beans in from both sides, and they're coming right down the throat of the combine here. And there's the sickle bar is cutting the beans off really close to the ground. To eat these beans up fairly quickly. Alright, Logan, this bean head that we got on here now, does it do just beans, or will it do other types of crops?
We can use this head to cut cereal rye, wheat, oats, soybeans. You can use it for edible beans. But on our operation, we have soybeans, yellow field peas, and cereal rye.
Now, when you change crops, say you go from soybeans to rye or wheat, something like that, are you changing like screens or anything in the back, or is it all just a computer adjustment?
It's 90% computer adjustment based on the size of the seed and the amount of trash that is coming through the combine. But there are a few mechanical adjustments that need to be made outside the combine.
Now, when you put, say, when we switch over to corn here within the next few weeks, couple weeks, how long does it take to go from like the soybean setup you have now to the corn head? How long does that transition take?
It's roughly half hour, 45 minutes, depending on if there's any service that needs to be done when we look over the internal components of the combine as we're making the adjustments. But most of the time, half an hour is all it takes to switch from corn to soybeans, or vice versa.
That is amazing how versatile this machine is, and how quick you can switch between crops. That's crazy fast. Like we're almost full. Offloading from the combine, the tractor with the grain cart will do a constant speed, and then the combine driver can adjust his speed to load where he wants to in the trailer. That's going to be a heavy one to take to town. Now this here is the grain cart. This is what the combine offloads into in the field. This is about 1,000 bushels in this cart, made by a company called Unverfirth. It's a 1196 grain cart. got the ginormous tires on it. It's got the unload boom here that actually folds up out of the way. So when they go to unload into the truck, this boom folds out. And then the boom also, once it's folded out, can move up and down also. And then it's got gates in the bottom that open up to allow so much of the grain out into the auger that goes all the way through the bottom. And this little gauge right here tells you how far your gate is open down underneath, so it how much you flow. You can see we got about a half a cart full of soybeans in there. The windows in front and back are nice. This grain cart also has a scale on it, so from the cab up in there you can see how many pounds are on this grain cart. There's a scale that's incorporated into the tires here on the cart, so that way he knows if he's overloading me or not. He knows how much he's putting onto the truck. Now they pull the grain cart with this 8260R John Deere. Got all the comforts of home inside. Let's go check out the cab. The newer tractors now come with a jump seat, so you no longer have to sit on the fender. Your wife can come out and ride with you. Pretty nice. Got really nice cloth seats, highly adjustable, air ride. It's got controls for all your remotes over on the right hand side of the captain's chair here. And this chair actually swivels. Pretty nice. Too bad this grain cart doesn't unload from the right side, because you could swivel over and see what you're doing. But it's got all the climate controls and everything for the tractor over there. This is your throttle. This is your gear shift right here. The yellow is your PTO on and off. And then all these buttons here are for your rear remotes. Now those buttons, you can either just push them up and down a little bit to move whatever you got hooked up to your remote, or you can click them down all the way and it'll activate your power beyond, where it'll be a constant flow of hydraulic oil through the remotes. Got the tilt steering wheel, goes up and down so you can get in the tractor easy. It's got a little pedal down there you click to move the steering wheel down. And then you see this item over here is the scale. So that's how you tell how much is in your grain cart. And then this screen here is for your tractor. You can bring up all the functions of the tractor. It's not like, you know, you don't have a dashboard up here. That's kind of your dashboard over there now. And it swivels with the seat. So that's nice. You can bring up all the functions of your tractor over there. Pretty sweet. They got a lot of nice mirrors in the tractor now, so you can see around. Big mirrors on the outside, rear view mirrors. You got radios. All the comforts of home in here. Now you need a pretty good sized tractor to haul this grain cart, because when this thing's loaded, there is a lot of weight. And if you're in hilly country like we are here, you've got to be able to pull this super heavy grain cart up out of that hill. The trucks we're using are Kenworth. Real nice. They got automatic transmissions in them, so it's easier to get seasonal help that can drive, because you don't need drivers that are crazy experienced with a big rig transmission. Now coupled to the tractor, what it's called, the rig here is called a tractor, is called a hopper bottom. And then on top of the hopper bottom you have an automatic tarp up here. So you have a remote inside, or you can come out and press a button that automatically covers your trailer. It's pretty slick. And then this trailer is actually split in half. There's a divider right down the middle. And then you've got two traps here on the bottom that dump your trailer. The bottom of the hopper comes down at an angle from the middle, and then an angle from the front, and an angle from the back. And then there's two hoppers. So you've got to open these separately to dump the front or the back. All right, we're loaded. We're going to head to the elevator. We'll show you a few things over there, some of the equipment that they use. So here's the elevator we bring our soybeans to. Now they have a train spur that comes in here, And what these guys do is they fill trains. They get a big long line of grain cars come in here, and they fill them all up, and then they put them on the road over to the west coast. This is what the area looks like underneath the pits. This is what we're dumping into with the truck. And then it goes down into this big conveyor and goes down to the elevator into the bins. This is all underground. Now here is the big open air pit they use once all these bins get full and they need more storage. They use this open air pit. And then they've got another one not so modern down there. This one's got kind of a hard floor. And you see these tubes sticking out in here. When they get this all mounted up, they can use these fans to keep the corn dry and also to dry down the corn. Also, they have more tubes that they extend out, and it pushes air up through the corn. Now this is the giant elevator they use when they start using this pit. The trucks drive right over the top of it, and you dump your traps right into that elevator. And this elevator's got tires that turn, so not only can they pull it, they can turn the tires sideways like they are now. So once this pile gets as tall as they can get it, they can move this whole elevator back and forth here on the ground and fill this pit up as tall as that elevator goes. Now over the winter they'll cover that with a big tarp, keep the rain and the snow and everything off of it. Sorry about the wind. Well, the truck's all loaded and I need to get back to work. I hope you enjoyed the tour of your little farm operation and looking over the equipment. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here on Markelly Farm.